Hello, friends. This is Dave Hurwitz, executive editor at ClassicsToday.com, here with random reviews from the Overflow room. That wasn't very effective, was it? Here. There we go. I'm trying to be sensitive because the cats are playing and they kind of freak out whenever they hear the gongs. It's interesting, cats' ears are attuned to high pitches, to the ultrasonic squeaking of mice and things like that. Low, rumbly things scare the living daylights out of them. So we have to be a little careful, when we do these things, because I respect my kitties. Here's our clump of Poulenc for the day. Oh, there's some great stuff here. See a couple operas. Yeah! We're getting to the heavy stuff. Homage to Francis Poulenc on Forlan. Do you remember that label? It had a wonderful Roussel disc with Roberto Benzi and a terrible Tarangallela symphony that was recommended by Messiaen because he recommended everything anyone ever did. But this is a Felicity Lott and Graham Johnson. A fabulous, fabulous disc. I mean, Felicity Lott was a wonderful leader singer. She was fantastic in the French repertoire. This is just absolutely first rate. And I've saved it because it's got like a zillion Poulenc songs. And I don't think you're going to find this around very easily. It's got the Bestiaire, Cocarde, the Trois Poèmes de Louise Lalande, À sa guitare, Tel jour, telle nuit. I think the whole thing, actually. There's a shorter version of it. Let's see, Banalité, Tu vois le feu du soir, Métamorphose, Voyage, Le Souris, and La Dame de Monte Carlo. Wow, it's quite a thing. It really is. It's a wonderful, wonderful disc. And here we have, with Felicity Lott and Graham Johnson, more Poulenc, a new Poulenc disc. It's not the same stuff. I'm not going to read the whole list of things. This is on Hyperion. It's back in the days when they were members of the Songmakers Almanac. When was this? It was in. Have we got a date? Give me a date, please. Yes, MCMLXXXVI. So that's 1986. Wow. Yeah, 1986. It's like 40 years ago. Gee whiz, I can't believe it. I absolutely can't believe it. God, but it's a great disc, by the way. And, on Koch, Babar the Elephant with Meryl Streep narrating. It's the orchestrated version with the New Zealand Symphony under Joanne Falletta. When she was like 12 when she did this. This is like amazing. I really need to sit down with some of these artists and go through these things and say, remember this? Look at that. And you've also got Ravel's Mother Goose Suite as the duo piano version with some orchestra stuff and holy cow. Oh, you get the Mother Goose Suite in the duo piano version, and then you've got a narrated version. It's unbelievable. Unbelievable. Yeah. Poulenc, French songs with the 16. This is great. This is on Virgin with Harry Christophers. Yep, and they don't always do early music. You've got Un Soir de Neige, the Chansons Françaises, Chanson à boire, Sept Chansons, Ave Verum Corpus, Salve Regina, Exultate Deo, and the Mass in G major, all glorious on Virgin, when it was a label. Yeah, there was a label. And then we've got two recordings of the Dialogue des Carmelites, one of the great operas of the 20th century. I've only seen the Met production about 50 times. I love it. I just love it. I saw it with Jesse Norman. I saw it with Régine Crespin. I saw the whole shebangy back from when they first did it. I was in high school when that production, it was a John Dexter production, I think, when it was first produced, and they kept doing it. It was wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. This is the performance with José Van Damme, Catherine Dubosc, Rita Gore. My goodness, Rita Gore, at the very end of her career. Jean-Luc Viala, Rachel Yakar, and all those other people with the Lyon Opera and Kent Nagano. Frankly, it's a good performance. It really is. It's well sung, but it has, frankly, doesn't hold a candle to this one, the original one, in mono, with Denise Duval, Régine Crespin, Denise Charlie, Liliane Berton, Rita Gore, again, in a different role. It's with Pierre Dervaux, and it was recorded in, what was it, 1958. Should have been in stereo, but it was done in mono. It wasn't in stereo largely because EMI UK refused to let the French use their stereo equipment so that they could have a leg up on them. That was one reason anyway. But the bottom line is it's a stunning, wonderful performance. It doesn't get any better, hasn't gotten any better. It's retained its luster, and the sound was excellent for its day and still sounds just perfectly fine. And the falling of the guillotine is my text tone on my phone. It makes a wonderful text tone. It goes chomp. I mean, the guillotine in this, the Nagano version just is very, very soft and fluffy. And you don't want a soft and fluffy guillotine. You want a sharp, brutal guillotine. This performance has the edge that the Nagano performance lacks. It really does. It's one of the greatest operas. I always say to friends of mine, I tell my story about, well, one of the many times I went to see it at the Met. People always think it's a nice thing if they have friends who are nuns to give them tickets to this piece. And I've mentioned this before, because they say, oh, it's an opera about nuns. Go see it at the Met. You'll love it. Well, what they don't know often when they give the tickets to their friend, the nun, is that the nuns all get their heads chopped off at the end of the opera, one by one, as they go to the scaffold singing a Salve Regina. That is one of the most heart-wrenching pieces of music anyone ever wrote. And every time I went and see it, there was a flock of nuns there, and one of them had to be carried out on a stretcher. I mean, sobbing, and I mean, I'm not trying to laugh at them. It's that moving, and I can only imagine what you feel like if you really are in a religious life and you see, this beautiful, sensitive, but also kind of bloody and it's almost like Puccini. How he likes to torture his little girls to death. I mean, well, Poulenc is torturing this order of nuns, and when they die at the very end, it takes your breath away. It's so incredibly powerful. Usually Sister so and so has to be escorted out with help from her sisters in the convent. It's like, wow, baby, what a great piece. Then we've got, let's see, Groupe Vocal de France under John Aldous, the John Aldous Choir, remember him? 7 chansons figures humaines, chanson française, Un soir de neige, and chanson à boire. Just wonderful Poulenc choral music, beautifully sung. What's not to love on EMI? And the one-act opera, Les Mamelles de Tiresias, Tiresias's breasts. It's an opera bouffe. It's an absurdist opera that it flopped terribly when it was performed right after World War II, because the message is French people need to have more babies after the devastation of the war. Something as light and frivolous as this didn't go over well with the audience. They were in no mood for it. And there's just a fantastic aria about promises that were made during their couple's happy trip to Connecticut, which they pronounced Connecticut. It's wonderful. This is the classic recording with André Clétaz. It also has La Balle Masquée attached to it as well. That's in stereo. Les Mamelles is in mono. And this was really the only version you could get until the really wonderful new recording led by Seiji Ozawa on Philips. So yeah, back when Philips was Philips. This thing I've already talked about in a previous video. Sécheresse, 7 Tenebrae responsories, and the penitential motets. It was the only show in town. And last but not least, another very good performance of La Voix Humaine. I mean, is anything ever going to eclipse Denise Duval in the title role? Well, I don't know. Jesse Norman, I saw do it a few times. That was cool. But this is with Françoise Poulenc, who's an excellent soprano in this role. Let's see, who's she with? The Orchestre National de Lille and Jean-Claude Cazadessus on Harmonia Mundi. It was always good to have more of this opera for soprano and orchestra. It's just a wonderful work. And, Poulenc wrote 3 operas. Basically, there's this one, and Dialogues of the Carmelites, and Les Mamelles de Tiresias. And they're all masterpieces, and they're all extraordinarily different from each other. So this one on Harmonia Mundi was really great to have, because at the time this came out, which was in 1993, there weren't many versions of it. There just weren't. And so, yeah, great. Keep on listening, friends. Thanks for joining me. Take care.